Okay, so let's look at the process of backing up your system drive, and this will apply specifically to a Mac. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Finder. And of course, if you don't have an icon, you can always do the following. Control space. And then your Spotlight search will come up. Then you can just type in Finder. And there's your Finder app right there. And so now that we have that up, the first thing we're going to do is go to our utilities. So I'll go, and then utilities. In particular, the utility we're looking for is the disk utility. So they're all in alphabetical order. So we'll choose that. Double click on it. Or you could actually just go disk utility. Quicker way would actually just be to do your control, your command space, and then type in disk utility, and that would get you there even quicker. So once we have our disk utility up, the drive I'm going to use to copy my main drive, which is called Biggest Drive 3 TB, is actually 129. Got a few drives on here. Let's see. I'm looking for 119, I believe. January 19, which was last month. There it is. And then I'm going to click. Now notice this down arrow. If you click on it, you get your main drive and then your data. So this is basically your software, and this is the data that the software contains you need. So what I'm going to do is click here on the volumes, and I'm going to erase, and I'm going to rename it to February 10. So 2-10-25. Sonoma is the operating system. I don't need the A because I'm only doing one drive a day. So 2-10-25, and then I'm going to erase it. Now, it's quite important to do this because you'll get data that is sort of left over, and it may not work right when you try and boot it up as a system disk. So if your system crashes, you need to basically have a viable clone of your system disk. And the safest way to do it is to make sure you're initially cloning it to an empty drive with the APFS format. And it doesn't take very long. It's actually happening quite quickly. Then wait for it to say operation successful, then done. So now we're ready to clone. So the software that I recommend that's worked for me, as a matter of fact, bailed me out of a system crash just a few days ago. Now you may say, well, your drive isn't going to, they last a long time, and it could take, if it's a brand new drive, it could take, a couple of years before I'd have to worry about it. But what happened to me is I was on a call with tech support, and I basically, my UPS started beeping while I was on the call. So instead of hitting the mute button on my UPS, universal power supply, I held down the power button, and it shut down my system. My system just lost power to everything. And then I realized that fortunately we had gone far enough to where I got the answer to my DP11 DAW, what the problem was. And which is another video and a short one. But as a result, when I went to boot up, nothing was booting up. The system drive had been corrupted simply because of the power out. And we actually do have quite a few power outs around here lately because of fires. So they shut down the power grid because the power company's been sued several times. I know this is a long video, but I'm just sort of, it'll be actually a short video, but just a long story involved. They shut down the power, and when they do, if you're not aware it will be shut down and you have your computer on, it could corrupt your hard drive. So it could happen to you just anytime if there's a power failure. So that's why it's a good idea to have backups. And after what happened to me a few days ago, I'm going to basically do backups, try and do them every day. So getting back with where we were, the software that I recommend, it's worked for me and it bailed me out just a few days ago, is Ease US Tool, or US To Do Backup. Now I use Carbon Copy Cloner for my data disks, but for my system disks, this is the one I'd recommend. It's worked for me, as you can see, all the way back to there's December. I've been doing backups, from 24 and actually even before that. These are just the ones that happen to be on here. So what I'm going to do now is start a new project, and I'm going to call it, well, as you can see, I've got this system. So BD, which is biggest drive, 3 TB, which actually stands for terabyte in case you were curious, and then 210, and then dash 25. That's just the name of the project. I haven't done anything yet. I'll click OK. You can schedule these things, but you don't want to schedule it because you really have to go through and create a blank drive every time. I schedule my backup drives with Carbon Copy Cloner, however, and that's another video. Now, the source is my main drive, which is biggest drive, 3 terabyte. And then I'll select the destination. So the destination would be the drive that I just formatted. So 21025, and it's Sonoma operating system. So then all you do is just hit the little play arrow, and that primarily will start your backup. So I'll go continue, and then depending on the speed of the drive that you're cloning to and cloning from, it can take anywhere from 40 minutes to 4 hours. So I've got actually the drives that I use are SSDs, solid state drives, as opposed to SATA. And it can vary even with those drives between 40 minutes and 4 hours. Now I did get a message saying something was, okay, I guess it's going okay though. So that is the way I would recommend doing it, and I would recommend doing it every day for your system drive. So or after you do install any new software, because if your drive hasn't been backed up with the new installed software, you're just going to have to install it again. So that way, anytime you install software minimally, you should do a system backup. So that is my tip for today on avoiding big headaches if your system drive goes down. In my case, I've got programs that have been installed for 13 years on the Mac system. I actually switched from the PC system to the Mac system about 13 years or so ago. And so I've got hundreds of programs that are on my system drive, and I would have to reinstall all those back again if I lost my system drive. So you can see, and there's probably many of you that have dozens, if not hundreds of programs on your main drive on the Mac system, and you don't want to have to go and recreate all those from scratch. So this is Bill McFadden signing off from TonePure.com.